Okay, I've started that now.
Perfect. Sorry, just lurking in the background.
Thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me. I have my notes when I'm in Go training, but I completely forget when I'm in here. Okay, let me just get back to this screen so I know what I'm sort of talking about. Okay, so first off, let's start with reconciling. So reconciling, it basically starts with workflows by the front end user for their shift, so the person really working the point of sale. Okay, then it really moves into management and dealing with variances at a latter stage on a posted period. Okay, so what I mean by that is they've done their shift, they've entered their shift count, producing reports, and then it moves into a management stage where other staff are coming in to review those shifts, which is really in the case of Hope, Janine and you guys. Okay, so first off, let's just, I don't know if you've been introduced to this, but let's just recap on what shifts and periods entail. Okay, so in MVibe we have the concept of shifts and periods, and you may or may not have seen this before, but we'll just sort of review over it. So basically shifts, every staff member that completes financial transactions in MVibe will need to start and finish a shift. Okay, so as soon as they go to use it, it's going to ask them to start a shift. And when they're finished their shift, they need to complete their shift. They're going to close it. Okay. A shift group sales processed on a particular MVibe terminal allows users to count and reconcile all transactions that have occurred on their shift. Okay, so they're actually going to count their money and reconcile that in MVibe. Okay, each shift has its own cash float that needs to be counted at the end of the shift. And a terminal may operate several shifts during the day at different times depending on staff changing shifts. So you're going to have your person that opens, they're going to start their shift in the morning, okay, and then they might finish at 12 o'clock. The next person comes on, so their shift will close. The next person is going to start their shift, and then that will go through till close. Okay, so, and that's all on the one terminal. So you've got those shifts going on through the day, opening and closing, and then basically we get to the end of the business day, and that's where we want to close what we call our period. So the period's a sum of all sales shifts occurring during a business day. So it's just going to consolidate it, all those charges and tender payments, all across the shifts into one document. Okay, so the staff work the shifts, they start, open and close their shifts, and then basically we end up closing a period, and that's a sum of all those transactions that have occurred through the shifts. Does that sound okay? Clear to everyone what sort of happens on the point of sale terminal?
Yep, that sounds fine.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to a concept now of shift management, okay? And shift management is actually a designated module that's really a high-level overview of shifts that are completed and ongoing. And we'll get into there shortly. I'll take you into the data and we'll have a look at it, okay? But in shift management, you can actually go to administration for a higher overview, and you'll be able to click on a shift or period to see the details of the transactions. Now, what you'll notice is on this overview, red is going to show you an underbank and green is an overbank of any shifts within the period. Okay, so that's basically sort of your overview of what's really happened. So what I want to do now is go through some of these resulting reports from a completed shift or period. So we'll just have a quick look at those. Okay, so we have our shift report. So when the operator closes a shift, the shift report is generated and it provides a breakdown of your expected versus counted for the shift. It also has any applicable notes. So I was looking actually in live to see what notes they had there for their variations, and I saw there was one that said, you know, Janine had approved this underbank. There was a problem with the membership. So they'd actually put their notes. When there's a variation, you have to enter a note, and then that variation note appears on this shift report. Okay, so that's on your shift level. Then we go into our period report, which, remembering, that's a consolidation of the shifts. And when the period's close, generally at close of business, this is when the period report's generated. it's, as we've discussed, it's a consolidated report of all the shifts for the period, showing tender type, department, terminal breakdowns, and it's basically a general overview of what's occurred during the period. So again, we'll have a look at that in the data shortly, but basically you'll see there's the payment types, cash, FPOS, and then there's the department breakdowns for your accounting. Okay, we're a consolidation of what those areas that there's been an allocation of a debit or a credit to.
Hi, Mandy. Sorry, it's Janine.
Hi, Janine. How you going?
Yeah, good. Sorry, I'm a bit late. We just got some things going on downstairs, so didn't realise the time.
No,
are you able to step back? Well, yeah. What area are you in for these reports? Just to.
Oh, well, we're just starting off. Actually, this is sort of the stuff you probably know anyway. We're just starting with the concept of shifts and periods.
Yeah.
Also, too, we've got a recording. So if you do need to look back at the start, we'll have that. I sort of started maybe one slide in, but you didn't really miss much. Okay. So
cool. Thanks.
Okay, so there's another concept I want to bring to your attention as well. There is in MVibe you're able to do a multi-period journal. So you've got your period report for one period, but you are actually able, if you wish, to consolidate periods into one report. Okay, that's your multi-period journal. You can select whichever periods you want to consolidate into one report. So it may be useful, say, if you're looking at the weekend, what's happened over the weekend, and you just want to consolidate it into one sort of figure for your banking, it puts it all onto the one report. So that's your multi-period journal. Okay, so we've covered shifts and periods that occur during the business day, but let's turn our sort of imagination now to someone working at the desk, Alicia. She's counted her money and she's recorded a variance in her count to her expected. So in shift management, we can use reports to assist in finding her variance from the shift. Okay, so from here you can select the shift with the variation. You can drill down. You can use some reports to find amounts that include information like terminal, amount, sales, number, and so on. So these sort of reports include transaction extract, payment extract, these ones here, payment reports, sales records, posting, journal extract, lots of reports for to have a look at. Now, we will revisit these reports more in depth when I get to the auditing section. I'm just sort of bringing at the moment your attention to how you sort of deep dive these variations within a shift. And the use of these reports are going to help you do that. Okay. But we will have a look at that more closely in the auditing section. So what I want to discuss now is actions causing variances. So here are some sort of suggested actions at the point of sale that cause variations between the expected and the counted, okay, when they get to the end of their shift or period. So you can have things like an incorrect item count. So say I'm working on the point of sale and someone comes up to get a bottle of water and I accidentally hit 2 bottles of water instead of 1 and process it through. Okay, so that's what we'd call an incorrect item count. Number 2, we can have an incorrect tender type selected. So again, I'm a bit trigger happy. I'm on the point of sale, I'm having a chat, and then as I'm putting the sale through, I select cash instead of FPOS. Okay, so once it's gone through, it's been recorded in the system as FPOS, but it really should have, sorry, I've selected cash, but it should have been FPOS. Okay. Number 3, sale is finalised on the point of sale, but then the customer changes their mind. Okay, so I might have already finished the sale and then they go, oh, you know what, look, I've got to go quickly. I've got to leave this now. Let's not worry about it. Okay, so that's where they might change their mind. And the 4th sort of action possibly causing a variation is omitted sales. So that's where maybe the money's been added to the till, but it's been forgotten to be allocated or rung up on the point of sale. Okay, so there's sort of our sort of suggested actions of what might cause variances, but I'm sure you guys have got a long list of lots of other ones you could impart on us. So talking about variations, that's going to lead our mind to adjustments. Okay, so we need to think about how we're going to address some of these issues, these adjustments, and we can break these down into two areas. So those two areas, you've got your same day adjustments and then what we call our retrospective adjustments. So your same day adjustment, that's where you hopefully can fix it during the shift or the reconciliation. Okay, so I'm working on the point of sale, I do something, I realise, I go, oh no, quick Janine, can you come over here? I really need to fix this now. I just realised, you know, I've allocated it to this and it should have gone to that. Okay, these same day adjustments, they do require the supervisor. The point of sale staff don't sort of have the permission to actually do these type of actions on the point of sale. Okay, that leads us into the retrospective. So that's basically where it's all done and dusted, the period's closed and reconciled, and then we discover we need to make an adjustment. Okay, and that's where we perform it at that shift management level, which is what we just briefly talked about at the start. You'll actually do that from shift management. Okay, so does that sort of make sense to everyone?
Yep.
Well,
For me, because
yeah.
we're on the floor, so it's probably a bit harder for the finance team to understand. We're not physically doing this.
Yes, that's right. No, that's fine. This is more probably conceptual for them, but that's fine. Okay, so let's talk these same day adjustments, the first part that we spoke about. So let's say I'm working at the point of sale and I make a few errors during the shift because it's really busy. Okay, I bring it to my supervisor's attention. I say, Hannah, I've got to fix these, you know, issues before my shift finishes. Okay, so in that case, what I could do is a modify or remove sale to correct my actions during the shift. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'll take you through on MVibe about how we're going to modify a sale. Okay, so just bear with me. I am going to do the the old switcheroo here. We'll see what happens. That's not what you want to see. No, okay, I think I'm going to have to bring it over. Doesn't seem to like the three screens, I think. I can only really deal with the two. Okay, can you see MVibe now?
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, so we're just talking about modify sale. So let's go down here into our point of sale. Okay, I'm going to put in my code and I've got a shift going, so I'm going to continue shift. Let's see if I can get rid of you out of there. Okay, so let's say I'm standing at the till and someone comes up and they decide they want to buy something. So let's have a look. What can we do here? Let's have a look in here. And let's say we're going to do a Powerade and a Diet Coke. Okay, and I'm going to click pay. Okay, so at the moment I've rung up a Diet Coke and a Powerade. But let's just say I'm a little bit trigger happy. Okay, I'm going to go through and process, but really in reality, they only wanted the Diet Coke. Okay, but we'll go through. So here we go. We've got a balance here and we'll just say they paid in cash and finalise. Okay, so here it's coming up with our receipt. And back to our 4-digit PIN. Okay, so now I've rung that up and then they've given me their money and they're going, hang on, I didn't really want that. I only wanted a, Diet Coke. I didn't really want the Powerade as well. So what I need to do is I might call the supervisor or Janine to come over. She's going to come here into functions. Okay, now this won't be available to the other staff to do this. Okay, and what I can do here is go into this modify sale. Okay, so here I've got my sale here, this Powerade Diet Coke, so I select that. Okay, and you'll see here it recalls this sale back to the till. Okay, so the person said, I only want a Diet Coke, so we really need to remove the Powerade. Okay, so then I just go through and process. Okay, we want balance. We use the same tender type as before, cash. Here I've got my notes, incorrect order on till. And then I can finalise. Okay. So what's going to happen there is it's going to correct that original sale. As well, it's going to adjust my stock and do those other things. Sorry, it's the only problem when you have got work off the one screen. So that's modify sale. How does everyone sort of feel about that workflow?
Pretty good.
Yep.
That looks okay. All right. So what we might do now is let me take you to the concept of remove sale. Okay. So here I'm going to ring up a sale. I might be at the till. I'm ringing up a sale. I process it through and then I discover it's incorrect and I've actually got to remove it totally. Okay, so let's go through that scenario. So we might go back into food and beverages and let's say we've got a few drinks here. Okay, we're going to pay. Okay, so what I'm going to say is I'm going to process it through as cash, but really the person wants to pay FPOS. This may be sort of an example when this might happen. So let's go through and process it with cash. Finalise. Okay. I turn to the customer, Hannah, and I say, come on, Hannah, time to pay your cash now. She goes, but hang on, I've only got my card. I wanted to pay on FPOS. So in that case, what we probably really want... Hello?
Oh, sorry. Just
no,
saying
you're
something.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, so in that case, what we want to do is remove the sale and we need to put the sale through again so we can take it through the FPOS machine. So again, I'm going to call Janine or Hope over. They're the supervisors and they will be able to go here into functions. So we go in here and we've got our tile remove sale. So we'll go in here. We come back to our sale here. We click OK. We bring up balance. OK. And here we're going to put it back through as we took it. So it was cash, incorrect. Tender type, enter, remove. Now when they go to do that, you'll notice there's this terrible big red stop right there sort of message, but it's really just, you know, highlighting, okay, what you're doing is you're actually going to remove this sale. So you're just warning the person, you know, are you sure you want to do this? You know, is it the correct circumstances that you would want to remove a sale? In this case it is, because we've put it through as cash and we really need to fire that FPOS, you know, side up. So we're going to say remove anyway and continue shift. Once we remove that, then we're right to go back in and we can ring up the drinks that we want. Okay. Balance. This time we want FPOS and then we can process through to the FPOS machine.
So, Anne, are you on the line?
Yes, Anne's here.
Okay.
I'm here.
So yeah, I just wanted to I need to just clarify a couple of business practices with you for our team, because Hope and I are not on shift 24/7
All the time. Yep.
Yeah. So I just need to go through some business practices or something that we're going to initiate here for refunds.
Do you
that
want me
might
to
be a
come
little
up
bit
and visit
different
after
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, whether I don't know whether we can do it today because we're still day 2 and we've got quite a few things we've got to sort out.
Yes.
So maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Are you around tomorrow?
I'm around tomorrow. I've
Yep.
got meetings in the morning,
Yep.
but I'm free in the afternoon.
Okay. Thanks,
Yep.
Mandy. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that.
No, you're right. That's all good. So just let me get back to my PowerPoint. I'm just, again, I'm just got to negotiate these screens. Sorry. Let me try. No, sorry guys, I just can't get back to that other one.
Hang on a second. I've just got to. Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. For some reason, it just wants to come back to my main screen.
While
Yeah,
Mandy's doing that, Janine, yes, I did.
Sorry, what was that?
God,
I
this is
missed it.
so frustrating.
Sorry, what was that? I just, yeah, trying to get Aqua turned down a bit.
That's okay.
Oh,
While
Aqua.
Mandy's sorting that out, yes, I
Yeah,
assumed
sorry,
that you
guys.
and neither you and Hope would be on shift all the time, so there
Yeah.
would be a level of other people who are authorised to do that, the cancellations, and also
Oh,
the audit trails, which I'm sure Mandy will cover off, so that
Yeah.
it becomes obvious if somebody is always
Yes.
reversing stuff out. So
Absolutely. Yeah, because it's all locked in with everyone's code. So, yep. No, that's fine. I just, like I said, we can talk about that.
okay, guys. Sorry, I've just got to. For some reason now, it really only wants to recognise one screen, and so I've got a problem here because you won't be able to see anything if I can't. Oh, and sorry, Nicole or Hannah, have you got any suggestions how to get the other screen sharing again?
When you click on the screen share, does it come up with a little box down the bottom that has
It
multiple?
does. It says
it-
1, 2, and 3, but what I'm finding is, and I think it's a Teams thing, it doesn't like the other screens and
The
wants
third.
to, yeah, it wants to keep coming back to just the main screen.
I got it now. We got
You
it
can
now.
see that?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
fantastic.
So
Okay.
I think I don't know whether it likes 3, but definitely, like, I do it with 2. So
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just get a bit because I lose my place. Well, I like to keep a structure there so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's good. So we can come back to the program shortly, but let's just review back what we're talking about. So that's the same day adjustments, the modify and remove sale. Now, as we discussed the modifier sale, I didn't have this before, but I'll just quickly run through with you. It does adjust your stock levels. Your reflective postings will be reversed. The amendments recorded in the actual shift they're working. Your end of period, the sale was raised, will not be updated, and your active period for the day will record the amendment. So basically, what that whole sort of point section is saying, it's going to adjust your stock level, and all your reports and postings will also be reflected for that modified sale. Okay, so that's what it's sort of telling you there. Similar thing with your remove sale. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to reverse your postings, update your stock levels, and your end of period report is going to reflect what sale they had in the end, not that actual sale that was there originally. Okay, which is what we want. Okay, so shift and period reporting. So let's come back to our scenario when we discovered that Alicia, who was working on the till, had her variation, okay, in account versus expected. So she did a little bit of looking during the shift and the period, but now the period's closed, okay? So basically she couldn't correct it during the shift. So our other scenarios, we went to Janine and said, Janine, I've made a mistake, let's fix it now. Now we're in a situation where Alicia's done her till up. She really couldn't find that $7, okay? It's all closed now, so it can't be corrected during the shift. So now we've got to think about what are our options now, okay? And this is where we can make our retrospective adjustments. That's number one. And or we could reconcile our variation to an adjustment department. Okay, so that's where we're going to turn our minds to now. So let's first talk about these retrospective adjustments. Okay, so remembering that the period's been closed, okay, and now we want to actually try and make adjustments for those variations. So coming back to our modify sale and remove sale, we've actually still got that option available. We can go in and actually modify and remove a sale even though the shift has been closed, the period's been closed. We do have another option there as well, backdate payments, and really that's used to record omitted sales from a past shift or period. Okay, so we're going to have a look at that next. Okay, let's talk about backdate payments. I feel like everyone's pretty comfortable with the, modify, remove sale. So it's basically exactly the same action once the period's closed.
So, sorry, Mandy, whereabouts are you at the moment? Like what
Stage of the workflows?
No, yeah, what section are you in?
Right, okay. When we talk about backdate payments?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Backdate payments, it's just an actual option that sits there on the point of sale. Okay. Now I will show it to you when we flick back. I'm a bit hesitant to now because I might put you through 5 minutes of trying. If I was in Go training, look, I could flick it around very easily,
Sure.
but Teams, but yeah, basically this backdate payment, it's not a module itself. It just actually sits as a little option on the point of sale. So if you can have a look at the screen now, you can see Mandy Supervisor. So that's what's showing on the point of sale, showing when I clocked in, and you'll see there's that option backdate payment. Okay, so let's use an example of it. Say I'm working on my shift and I'm chatting away and someone gives me money for 2 pool swims. Okay, I ring up one accidentally and then get called away and forget to ring up the other pool swim. Okay, so I've entered one in instead of 2 and then I've rushed off because I've got to make a coffee for Janine, in the office, for example. Okay, so basically I've put all the cash in the point of sale, but I've only got 1 swim rung up, not 2. Okay, so this is going to leave the till over by that sale. So in this sort of scenario, what you could do is actually use this backdate payments. So that'll allow you to enter the sale on the point of sale once the period's been closed. Okay, so when entering a backdate payment, you'll be asked what date time you will need to record that sale against. Okay, so when you go to do backdate payment, it actually says to you, okay, where do you want to put this sale into? And you have to actually pick a date and a time. So usually you would already know that because you've done your shift administration. You know the site, you've looked in there and you've seen, okay, this is the period we need to enter that pool swim. Okay, and then you'll just go onto your point of sale and you can do that backdate payment into that period. So does that sort of make sense about the backdate payments? Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, no,
about
that's fine. That could happen quite a lot here. So yeah.
Right. Okay. No worries. All right. So that's our backdate payments. Okay. So we've basically now we've covered those retrospective adjustments. So we had the add modify and then we had the backdatement. So that's what we can do once the shift has been closed and the period's been closed. We can do that with the shift administration. Okay. But now what we want to do is talk about adjustment reconciliation. Okay, so even though we've done those adjustments, look, we still might be out. Say Mary's done her shift and she's got a variation of $10 and really no one knows what it is. And you're at the stage, you really just have to get it all, ready to import for your journal. So you can't spend all day looking for $10. Okay, so what we can do in this case is a re-reconciliation of that period. Okay, now when I talk about re-reconciling, it means we can override the count that Mary had put in when she was doing her shift count to match the expected. Okay, so if we have a look here on the screen, you can see your cash is 7940.85 and the counted is now going to be entered as 7940.85, which will bring that difference back to 0. Okay, now when we do that, what actually happens is it creates a variance in our adjustment item. Okay, and the adjustment item, basically that's linked to your unders and overs account. So in this scenario, we've got the $10, we can't spend all day looking for it, and we've decided, look, we just want to put it in unders and overs in the accounts. Okay, so what we're going to do, and we'll have a look at it shortly, you'll go in, you'll re-reconcile so that the expected and the count matches, That difference will then go into the adjustment item, which will flow through to your unders and overs account. Now, just let's have a look at end of period report. Let's just have a little look at that because we want to see there in our accounting where that's coming through. So you'll see here adjustment, and it's highlighted here. You can see where we've got this adjustment flowing through now as a credit to the unders and overs account. Okay, in this case it's been called adjustment, but in your system I just went with Anne's terminology, which was overs/unders, and that throws through your 131 credit. Okay, so and if your finance extract is utilised by the site, which you guys are, it's going to surface in the file. Now there's just a caveat with this actually. It's dated the day the adjustment is created, not the period the adjustment related to. So what I mean by that is you normally what happens is you come in the next day to deal with these unders and overs. Okay, so it's actually the next day. She's finished her shift that night. You're coming in today and you want to re-reconcile with this adjustment item. So what happens in your file, it's going to go in dated today regarding your unders and overs for yesterday. Now, does that make sense to everyone?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, cool. So that's what we call our adjustment item. Okay, so that's another way with just dealing with the last section really of those unders and overs. Now, does anyone have any sort of questions about that whole section about doing shifts and periods, dealing with variances, adjustments? Did anyone want to bring up anything for discussion or further clarification?
That's something we're just going to have to work through from yesterday. So
Yeah. And as I said, I did have a look in there, and there, you've got some good. You've got a couple of practicing items to start with.
Yeah, but, some really good ones actually.
Yeah. So, but that's okay. We'll get into those reports shortly.
Yep.
Okay, so my next little section I've called here is auditing, okay? And really this revolves around that concept of analysing your shift and period data. So those things we were discussing before, all the entries that have gone in, okay? So this might involve things like deep diving your sales transactions for shift variations. It might be tracking refunds, sale overrides, things like that that occur. Okay, so we're going to go through some reports now that actually assist with this analysis. Okay, so like I was sort of saying before, I sort of think of auditing, and you guys might have a different perspective on it, but I sort of think of auditing as things where you're looking for variations, but then there might be some other reports that you just generally want to run, you know, regularly, such as your, you know, overriding of sales, and discount, overriding of discounts and things like that. Okay, so I've just lumped them into auditing. Okay, so let's revisit this shift management administration that we've sort of spoken a little bit before.
So that's where you're in?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is go into MVibe in a little minute and we'll have a little look in there. Okay, so in here all the periods are listed here, completed or ongoing, and this is really the hub of all your shifts and periods. And depending on your approach for validating and investigating shift and period data, there's a few extracts and reports containing details of every transaction performed during this shift and period. So what I'm going to do now, live dangerously and hold your breath everyone, I'm going to attempt to change it back over to MVibe. Let's see how we go. Let's see.
Do you want me to share my screen? I've got it on now. If you're struggling, I can.
Well, hang on, let me see. I might be okay because I'm in test here. Let me just try. Sorry, everyone. Otherwise, yeah, we might revert to that. Now, what I might do, hang on, let me try and be smarter here and see if I can move it over to the one that you can see. Can you see that now?
It hasn't moved.
Okay, let me try. How's that looking?
Yep. We got point of sale.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so let me now go back to where I want to go to. Okay. Oh, so have you got? Oh, hang on. What's happened there? Can you still see?
You're on point of sale.
Yeah. Okay. It's odd because now mine's gone all funny. Oh dear. Okay. I see. Okay. Oh, I'm not going to be able to move it. Okay, sorry everyone. Okay, so let's come back to the start here. So if I hit my menu up here, okay, so let's talk about this shift management administration that I keep coming back to. So to get to that, there's a couple of ways you can get to it. You can go through accounting, or you can just type in here shift management. I'm a bit lazy, so I just use a menu because it comes in here. I enter my staff checkpoint, okay. So you notice here on this screen, I've got a bit of an overview here of shifts that are open and shifts that have been completed. Okay, then I've got my little module up here, administration. So I'm going to go in there because that gives me a lot more information. So what you're seeing here is a display of all the past periods that have happened. Okay, so we're in the test data now, so there's been a lot of, you know, shifts open and closed with really no data. But if we have a look at this one here, this is one here that we can see it was closed for $110.50, and you can see in here all the different terminals that were open during that period. Okay, now we don't know if we've got one that's under, but we can see here we've got one that's over, it's in green, so it was $22 over. This one was $88.50 over. Okay, so coming back to what we were discussing earlier in regards to the reports, if you sort of deep dive into this area, what you can actually do is go into those shifts. So if I have a look at this one here, this variance $22, that'll actually take me into that shift. I can see any notes. Now this person's been a bit naughty and they've just wrote NA, but hopefully they're, you know, documenting, you know, what the issue is with their shift. Now, because I'm in this actual terminal shift report, over here to the side, these reports become very specific to this actual terminal. So if I have a look here, say for example, I go to transaction extract, I'm just going to click on that. Okay, and what's going to happen is it will bring up, this is not, would have been good to have data, but it will bring up all the information regarding what's happened on the transactions that have happened on that terminal. Okay, so let me just go back higher up because maybe we've got more information on the overall. So let's see if we've got something in transaction extract here. Okay, we've got something here. So we've got someone's done a sale. Okay, so you can see it starts to populate these tables. Okay, let's have a look. So we've got transaction extract, we've got payment extract. Okay, it's another report. It's going to put in date, time, terminal, staff member, sales, etc. Okay. Let's have a look. We've got sales records. So you've seen this screen before. It's going to show you a list of all the sales. Okay. And if ever you want to sort of look more closely into a sale, you can click on the sale. Okay. And you can actually even go in down here. I've done this a little bit when I'm sort of deep diving. You can go into edit and you can actually even see what's occurring within the sale. Okay. So I can actually see, you know, what's extra things that have happened within that sale. Okay.
Mandy, can you just go back one step and just show me how you got that? So you're in that 110.50. I've got that as a live thing as well.
Oh, yes, yep. Okay,
Right.
so what I've done, I've gone here into this. Let's take it back a step. So I'm in here with an overview.
Yep.
Okay, I'll highlight that shift. It shows me that period. It shows me all the shifts that have happened within that shift.
Yep.
Then I've got all these reports available to me. Now, once you've got proper data, say for example, this is Leisha's, poor Leisha, we keep blaming her, but say she's got the variation. What you could do then is go into here and then it actually brings these reports down on her terminal level. Okay, you can really sort of deep dive into what happened with her transactions, but because we're sort of using this dummy data, it's throwing me a curveball. So I'm just looking overall and I've said, okay, these are all the shifts in the period, and I'm using these reports, which are really the same, but they're just showing a consolidation. Okay, so I was looking here at sales records. So if we click on sales records, and what happens there, it basically shows you all sales that occur. Okay, that have occurred between the 8th to the 15th this period. Okay, if I want to go into a sale, now a lot of these are your direct debits, so they're probably not fantastic to use because not much has really happened with them. But say you want to have a look at a sale for something, you can highlight that sale. Okay, and then down the bottom here you've got a few options, so you can go here into show transaction summary if you want to relook at that, or you can click down here into this edit. Okay, now with the direct debits, they're not really that exciting. When you go here and highlight and go into edit, it doesn't really sort of show you much, but when you go into other things, you can actually see the journals and things that happen over on this side, these postings. Okay, so that can be quite handy if you're sort of having a look at different, variations, and then having a look at the effect that they're having on your postings. Okay, so
you're in, where are you, edit transactions?
Yeah, edit. Yeah, so it's probably, not something you go into every day. You probably, in fact, actually be talking
Very
to
rarely.
us. Yeah, you'd be talking to us. That's really where we go.
Well, that's
But
where
it
we'll be
just
talking to you today about yesterday, because there were quite a lot in there.
Yeah, okay, no problems. And you'll notice up here we've got an ongoing shift, so it actually, you can even look at what's ongoing at the moment, okay, or sorry, ongoing period. And within this one, I've completed a shift here and I had a variance, so I click on that. Okay, I've got my note here, incorrect change. I've sort of tried to help you work out what the problem is. And then within my shift, again, we can have a look. Maybe I've got some things in here. Okay, you can see transactions that have occurred in here. So as you know, when you're looking for variances, sometimes you can get lucky. I was looking at your live variances. I saw someone had a variation of 1,700, and I was sort of having sort of little
Heart
peek
attack.
in there. And there was a couple of memberships, there was some suspicious things that stuck out to me, that
Yeah, we had
they
some
did.
freezing, actually.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So that's how I sort of started to approach it. I just started, and you're probably the same, you start to look for amounts, common things that might add, and then these sort of reports support those, looking for those faulty transactions, I guess you'd call it.
Sure.
So they're the sales posting extract. There's also the payment extract. It's quite good too, because it shows you as well if they've put any notes in there, if they've done refunds, etc. Okay, so that'll come up here. Here I've used a voucher, and the payment report. This is quite good too. If we click on that, it'll take you in and it shows you exactly what happened, the person that the sale was allocated to, and also too, I quite like this because it's good from an auditing perspective. You've got actually the 4-digit PIN and then the terminal that they were working on. So in MVibe, everyone's got a 4-digit PIN that they're allocated to. So in this case, it was Hannah here. She was working on this terminal and she processed this, voucher here for $50. Okay, so this report shows you all payments and refunds. Okay.
Yep.
So that's really in your. I'll just use this little arrow to go up. So that's where we went into this administration. So you can look at it all in here, but if you really want to deep dive into this administration, that's where you can have a lot of stuff. And this is also where you've got that multi-period journal. So when you go in here, you can actually select, a few here, and then once you go OK, then it will consolidate it together. Okay. I haven't got anything here because we've got 0 shifts, but that's how that'll do that. The period report, let's have a real look at a real one here. So let's see if we've got something coming up on here. Period, yep, okay. So the period report, that's where we had it on the PowerPoint. It's really a consolidation of what's happened on the whole period. So you're going to have your expected and counted, and then the department breakdown of what has been allocated. And that's basically what's going to be coming through to your file that you're going to import into Tech 1. All your debits, credits, what's coming through there. And then your terminal breakdown. This is my terminal. There was another one there, and your expected versus counted. Okay, so at the moment, this one's just an ongoing one, so it hasn't been closed. Does anyone have sort of any questions so far about any of that? Sound okay?
Yep, all good.
Okay, fantastic.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So let me now turn your attention so that's where we went into our administration module. So let's come back to the start and I'll just do a quick review. So remember we went here into shift management. That's how we got to that area. You can also, I believe, get into accounting. Let's go in here and you've got period administration there. Okay, so that's how you get into that section, that separate module, and that's only available to people that have got the permissions. Okay. So I'm just going to go back now because I want to take you through into business reports. In terms of auditing, there's another few good reports you may want to use in here. So we'll go in here and let's go down towards the bottom. Okay, so we've got things like sales discount audit. That's a report that you may want to run. I don't think we've done any discounts here, but basically what it's going to do is show you any discounts that have been used in any shifts. Okay, so you'll be able to see those. You've got your period button here and you can actually, if you want, put in a custom date range. So it could be for just one particular day. It's just a matter of changing to whatever you want it to be. Okay, you can change it that way. Also too, you've got the ability to actually filter down. So you might decide, okay, I just want to have a look at, you know, any discounts they've done on a certain, you know, item or whatever. You've got this filtering here so you can actually bring it down to terminal, etc. So say for example you might be having a look at sales discounts and you might be noticing that, you know, one staff member for example seems to be doing a lot of discounts. You can actually drill down and go, okay, I want to look at that staff member and on particular days and how many sales discounts have happened. Okay,
Mandy, sorry, these transactions, are they live or is it after a shift has ended that they populate in there?
Yes, they populate in there. That's a good question. I think they do populate in there once you've posted the shift, but maybe Nicole or Hannah could correct me on that.
Great question. So business reports runs, it has this little thing in the background called data warehouse, and that normally runs every hour to push through the data through to the reports. But especially with sales charges and things like that, I'd generally be not relying on that. I'd be relying on when you shut your shifts or periods.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Because I've just noticed there was a discount that made this morning and it's not sitting there.
Yeah. So until I think it's the periods from my knowledge, you're kind of working retrospectively. So everything you did yesterday, you'll see in the sales charges today.
Yep. No worries.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a good thing because you've got some variations right from the get-go. You're going to get deep and dirty straight into all these reports. So it's actually a good way to learn. So that was our sales discount audit. Still on the sort of audit trail, we've also got our sales override audit. That's quite good too. So let's think back to when we're processing a sale. When you're doing a sale, I think in your policy you've actually got that it requires an administrative person to come and override it. That's correct, isn't it? Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think we've got a permanent staff member.
Right.
Because again, administrators just hope and I. So I think we've had to.
Okay.
Yeah. But I can talk to Anne and just confirm all that. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So basically what we say by that, just for the others, it means say I'm on the point of sale and then I decide that I'm going to sell this item for, you know, $10 off. For example, say it's something hanging on the rack and we've decided we're going to sell it cheaper, $10 off. Then what I've got to do is call over whoever's in charge on the shift. They've got to come to the till and use their PIN to come in, and then we can do what we call a sales override, and we're able to then make that sales item that we normally sell for $30 will sell for $20. Now this sales override report, this is where it's actually going to now show you any sales overrides that have occurred. And again, you've got the option, you can do it for a custom date range. So, if you might be looking at what's happened over the previous week, you might just want to have a little bo peep, or it may be something you want to run off regularly. You could do it for a day, a week, whatever you decided, the month. Okay, and again, you've got that filtering. So if you wanted to deep dive a little bit further, you can actually do it by the sales item. So that might be, you know, the frilly bathers or whatever it is, or it may be by the area. So that's the different, you know, areas that you're using, your facilities or your reception. And then you've got some other options there, like we discussed before. You could do it by a terminal, staff member, etc. Okay, so that's your sales override audit report. Does that make sense? Everyone's understands that?
Yeah, it is actually the administrator to do that one, sorry.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Now, we've also got, so we've talked about the sales override, the sales discount audit, so they're quite good. There's also another audit report, sales level. Sales level, just correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you guys are actually using sales levels. That's whereby you might apply, say, to a membership 10%. All people have 10% off, you know, say merchandise if they're in this classification.
We do have that, but it might not be set up yet.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah. All right.
right.
That's something we might have to look at because
Yeah,
with the membership, we do allow a 10% discount off like swimwear and stuff as a bonus.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay, well, we can set that up for you. And then what will happen is you're able to run this audit report and actually see where those discounts have been applied.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
and how much it's adding up to.
Yep.
Another one I quite like is sales charges by time. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's got quite a bit of filtering. That's by time. This other one I think is better. With the variations, I found actually this sale charges, breakdown of charges. It's quite good because it'll actually show you your sales amount, quantity, and what you can actually do is actually drill down into the items themselves. So when you're looking for variations, this one can be quite good as well because you can actually sort of look at what items have been sold, and it may help sort of twig in regards to amounts if you're looking for variations. And because you've got this filtering, you're able to sort of break it down and look at the different areas. So you might be looking at on a particular terminal, for example, you know, what charges have happened, you know, when you've got a variation on the shift. Okay, so that's your sales charges by time. Again, you've got your period button, so you've got that ability to break it down into a custom date if you're looking on a particular day. Okay.
And you could use that part too, Janine, for monitoring when you really need to have maybe an extra person on the till and that sort of thing. So it's
good.
handy from a lot of levels.
Yes,
it's good to look at different areas and is it time based as well?
Yeah, sales charge by time. That one actually goes by your days.
Oh, yeah.
So like you were
by
just
time
saying.
There. Yep.
Yeah, and again, as we were saying, you can actually bring it down with your filtering as well.
Oh, yeah, your hours. Yeah, cool. All right.
So, yeah, so that's another one to add to the list. Okay, so let me just go back. I'm going to just have to come back to my screen. Sorry, guys, because I really need to know where I'm at with it all. Let me go here. So I'm just going to unshare for a minute. Okay, so sales charges, we've talked, okay, great, fantastic. Okie doke, okay, so let me attempt one more share, everyone. If you've still got your coffee there, you might be using it as you watch me do this.
No, I've done this only presenting to like 100 people. And
I know that would be.
Oh.
Yes, I don't know if I'd like that. Okay, so let's now move our minds to accounting. Okay, so we've talked about the auditing. You've seen a few reports that you can do to actually help you shift variations, but also ones that you may want to just run to, as we discussed, look at when sales are happening, looking when discounts, those type of things, small sort of auditing, spot checking things. We're now going to talk about accounting. That's sort of our final section. Okay, what we're going to look at here, we're going to look at some reports that's going to cover our things like posted departments. That's our accounting, accounting, membership sales, etc. We're going to look at customer balances and statements, and we're also going to talk about the MVibe to Tech One integration. Okay, so I'm going to start with that. I don't know, you've been working on Adam with it, haven't you? The MVibe to Tech One integration. Is that right, Anne? You've been working with that, or?
Yeah, it's really on hold, and because we've just gone live with a fairly large section of Tech One, we will wait until that is more than truly happy, and
then you'll bring
also,
it up.
Yeah.
Okay, beat me to it, Anne. Mandy, we're picking it back up next year.
Right, okay, well that's fine. So what we might just do now is just let's have a look at how it sort of all hangs together. Okay, so basically what's going to happen in accounting, when you go into your module accounting, you'll notice there's a button there, commit journals. Okay, so in there, once you go in there, you'll see all the periods, just as we saw in that period administration in the green to the left. We saw all those periods. So what you can do in there is you select your period to interface. So you come in today, all the adjustments have been done, you're happy, you're ready to bring it into Tech One. So you'll go into commit journals, you'll tick the shift for yesterday, the period for yesterday, okay? And what will happen, it will be written out to what Adam's has really done is a pre-configured directory, okay? And then basically that writes that CSV to that directory, and then you'll go into your Tech One, and in there somewhere you'll browse, and then you'll browse to that directory and pick up that CSV and bring it into Tech One. Have you been able to do that in test at all?
I'm going to say just a question on the commit journals.
Yeah.
Being that we're not bringing it straight into Tech One, and we're actually going to be acting manually, we still run through the process of creating these commit journals, and they go to a dummy area. This is a question that we can actually pull the CSV out, have a look at that journal entry, and then Christy will, or Julie or Susan, depending, will actually process that journal.
Yes, well, yes, you're right. It's got the button commit journals, which to me sounds very scary as well, because it sounds like it's like really final. But yes, all it's really doing is it's writing out to that directory. I might take you back to that once we go through these other slides and show you the screens. But yeah, it'll just write out that file, and then from there, what you do with that CSV file is totally up to you guys. So when you actually decide you're going to import it, you'll do it from Tech One. However, if you're in the interim and you want to look at that CSV, you can just open it in Excel and you'll be able to see everything coming through. Okay, so we might have a look at that in a minute once we go through the accounting reports, just so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so let's talk about the accounting reports. I've just got sort of some suggested ones here. These reports are found in the accounting module. Okay, and I've just sort of highlighted some common ones that you will find useful. So the old accounts receivable. So in MVibe, accounts receivable is really, it's a report of transactions running through the accounts receivable. So in MVibe, you get a few different things running through there. It's not sort of totally customers. You may even just be bringing things on the till like a booking, and it'll run through accounts receivable and back the other and back out. So it's like a running account in MVibe, this accounts receivable. Okay. What will happen is in your accounts receivable report, you'll basically see invoiced and uninvoiced amounts in there, and they're from things like I said, from bookings, the point of sale teams and so on. Now when we come to our aged debtors, that's once an invoice has been generated, so that's a little bit different. Okay, once an invoice is generated, it hits this aged debtor report. Okay, now you can review this report as at today's date, You can also, there's a show pending tile which you can use to look at invoices that have got a future date, and they come under an additional column pending. Now, looking at the setup you guys have got at the moment, it looks like you've got immediate invoice. So basically what happens is when you have an invoice, it just happens as at the time. You're not actually saying in 60 days, 30 days into the future. So at the moment, that pending's really not going to do anything for you because you're not really doing anything into the future. But just be aware if you do down the track, age into have invoices due into the future, you'll be able to have the ability to turn on or off that show pending tile. Account statement, we'll have a look at that in a moment. This is where you can report and email statements to customers, and you've got a date range that picks up by invoice due date. Okay. We've got unspent voucher. That's a report that's showing your liability. All contacts with vouchers that hold a balance that haven't yet redeemed that balance. Okay. Posted department, that's our debit and credit breakdown for each department code. So that's like we were discussing, your swim income, your gym income, all your debits and credits, and how they're filtering through into your Tech One CSV. And the last one is your transaction settlement, which displays your on-site settlement into ledger and revenue related departments. So what I'm going to do now, just before everyone goes, let's just jump back in and have a little look at those. So let me just try to get back across. I might just be able to bring MVibe. Can you see MVibe now? No?
No.
Okay, let me just notice as soon as I change. Let me try now to bring to MVibe. Yes? Okay, yep. So let's have a look. So we'll go back here. So now we're talking about the accounting module. So let's go and have a look in here. Okay, into my code. Okay, so we're talking about the accounts receivable. So that's where I was saying a lot of things flow through this account. So we'll just have a little look in there. Basically, this report really is constantly changing on even a minute-by-minute basis, because as soon as you're raising and paying for bookings as the day goes on, so when there's a casual booking, you can see here, comes straight into this accounts receivable report, but then also once it's paid, it sort of comes straight back out. So if this guy came back this afternoon and then paid for this booking, it's going to go into this accounts receivable report in the morning, but then it'll be gone by the afternoon. So it's sort of a constantly sort of flow of what's happening within your accounts receivable. You've got this ability up here, this PDF report, if ever you want to have a look into, something a bit easier on the eye. You've got your PDF ability there, and you've also got your export to Excel. So that's your accounts receivable. The next one we spoke about was your aged debtor. So that's where you're actually now talking about invoices. So we can see in here we've got some people that have got invoices due, their amounts current 30, 60, 90, over 120, and this is where I was talking about this show pending. Once you click on that, basically what happens, it brings in another column here, pending. Okay, so you've got that ability to see what's coming up in the future. Otherwise it's just dealing with, as at the 16th. So let's, again, you've got your reports here. If you want to put it into a report, a little bit easier on the eye to read that information. So that's your aged debtor. Okay, we also spoke about our posted department. Let's have a look in here. Okay, so your posted department, you can see you've got your accounting accounts over here, and we can click on any of these to have a look to see on any day any debits and credits, unspent voucher. So that's just giving you a display of your posted departments. Now, what else did we speak of? Period reconciliation. Let's have a look in here. So in here, your period reconciliation, you've got your amounts. You can consolidate several days and then extract as well. Okay, so they're all really just supporting documentation to those other reports that we looked at earlier. Before we go into our commit journals, let's have a look at our account statement. Now in here, basically you've got a from and until, or you can just go until a minimum outstanding balance. So I don't know, I always put 1, but you probably could do it with 0. I guess 0 would still pick anyone, but I always say I only want to see someone that's got at least a dollar balance. Okay, and in here you can see we've got our account statements here. Okay, so if I wanted to now send out to those people, these ones have got email addresses in the system, and here I could go to bulk email and actually email out their statement. Okay, so that report you can sort of use as a report, but you can also use to communicate to your customers by emailing out a statement. How's that sounding, everyone? Okay?
Yep.
Okay, so let's have a look. I think we've sort of covered the main ones. Unspent voucher, I think that was the only other one. I don't think I haven't got any to show you, but basically that'll be a list there of your contacts, their balance, and when it expires. So you've got that liability showing there if you want to validate that to your balance sheet. Okay, so let's have a look here. We've got this button here, commit journals. That's what I was speaking of before. Once we go in here, okay, when you go into live, I did have a little Bo Peep in live, and I could see up there that Adam set it up to a directory. So if you go in there, it's okay to go in there. You won't sort of cause any problems, but you'll be able to see where it's going to be written. So in the interim, if you do want to have a look at that CSV file, but not actually bring it into Tech One, you can just go into this commit files and commit journals and have a look where it's going to write to. Okay, then it's not a problem if you want to. You'll see here you've got your periods. So if we select a period, what's going to happen, you'll tick you want that one to go. Okay, and that's showing here all the shifts that were involved in that period. Now I'll click OK here, but you'll find I'm going to get an error because there's some sort of problem writing to this file. But what you'll do once you click OK, what's going to happen is it will write that CSV file out to that directory, and then from there you'll be able to, like we said, bring it into Tech One, or you can have a look in Excel. It's just really sitting there for use, basically. Did you have any questions about this integration, or seems okay?
A lot more questions a little bit later on, but yes, that looks fine. So we'll be able to select the periods that we want to bring together, and even in the interim, we may end up using that to just create journals.
Yeah.
That one
so
together.
just revisiting our timing, I guess before you do sort of write that out, you'd want to make sure you were happy, you'd re-reconciled your shifts, your period, and you'd sort of signed off from that period before you go in here and export it. Okay, so you want to make sure that all your adjustments had been done to the period, any modify sales, any of those type of things, and then bring it over. Okay. Yep. Okay, so that sort of covers, I've sort of covered everything I think you guys really need to know at this stage. Do you guys have any questions or anything you want me to go back over, or anything that you'd like to see here in Envibe that we've discussed that maybe I didn't explain clearly? Does anyone have any questions?
No, I think I'm okay. I think, like Anne said, when we start looking at the integration with Tech One next year, we'll probably have to just do a bit of a revisit for certain things. So
yeah, okay, now that sounds good. Okay, well, we might wrap it up there, and I guess, as we said, we've got our first variation, so I guess it all starts today. We start having really a look at all these sort of reports, and yeah, we'll see if we can work them out.
No worries.
Thanks, ladies, for your time today.
Thanks.
I'll catch you soon.
That was very good.
Oh,
thanks, Mandy. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
No worries. Thanks. Bye.
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 So, Nicole, I'm going to get on. I'm just going to get Davina upstairs in a minute. We're just sort of really busy downstairs, and I'll pop back up and we'll have a sit down and talk about a few things that happened yesterday.
Oh, looks
Sorry,
like
she's gone.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
That's okay.
We've started
Yes.
another meeting for support today. So what we might do is jump off this one, and then we can jump on that other one and start going through some stuff if you like.
Yeah, I'm not ready yet, Mandy. I just need some time to talk to Davina first.
Okay.
That's what I was just saying to Nicole. But
okay.
we'll jump in when we can. The meeting request is there, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Right.
Okay, well, we're here
Thank
just
you.
whenever you're ready.
No worries.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay.
Thanks, Janine.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.